We are back at it again here with another video with Invest for Tomorrow. To the first time viewers and investors, welcome to the channel. To all subscribers, welcome back. Here we are with GETY stock, Getty Images Holdings Inc. And in today's video, we're going to break down the data and what the short interest is and what's going on with these charts and what key levels I would watch going into tomorrow. But it was not the only stock experiencing volatility. The overall market and the QQQ did as well. And our QQQ bot at 10:05 a.m. sent out a bear indicator. And from that moment forward, outflows crossed the midpoint to the downside. Pure weakness there on 42 vision. And put options went up 500% plus within an hour, guys. And as you see there popping up within the screen, within the options chain, some options even went higher than that. If you guys want to receive this clarity and edge of the charts, you can now gain access to it as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicators, getting connected over to our bots and becoming part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together by receiving this clarity and edge over the charts and using these resources to maximize in either direction, whether stocks are going up or going down. So here we are with GETY above $6 and fighting to stay above it. We're going to talk about what's going on with the inflow versus outflow and the bull and bear indicators. But before we do, I want to share with you guys the home run opportunity that was mentioned this morning over at the Discord. So the home run of the day was spectacular and beyond expectations. And if you guys want to know about these stocks early on and receive this clarity and edge of the charts, you can now gain access to it as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicators, getting connected over to our bots and becoming part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together. So the home run of the day was from our AMD bot. Our AMD bot sent out a bear indicator at 8:10 a.m. And from that moment forward, outflows crossed the midpoint to the downside. Pure weakness there on 42 vision. And put options went up 200% plus within an hour, guys. And as you see there popping up within the screen, within the options chain, some options even went higher than that. If you guys want to receive this clarity and edge of the charts, you can now gain access to it as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicators, getting connected over to our bots. We look forward to having you join us, and we strive for opportunities like these every single day. Let's jump into these charts. So here we are with GETY stock doing a full transition from the dip area yesterday of white with red borders to the rip area today of bright green bars and back down towards white with red borders in today's volatility on the 5-minute chart. And if this is your first time coming across the channel, this is 42 vision, which allows us to see the dips from the rips to the dips, and where the strength and weakness lies within the charts. And we also use our bull and bear indicators and inflow versus outflow as an extra layer of confirmation, which I'm going to pull up here and you can now gain access to as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicator, getting connected over to our bots and becoming part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together by receiving this clarity and edge over the charts and using these resources to maximize in either direction, whether stocks are going up or going down. And in today's video, I'm going to pull up the inflow versus outflow indicator, which adds that extra layer of confirmation and gives us that edge within the volatility. So here we are with GETY under a bull indicator since last Friday on June 2nd from way down here at the 470 area, and things took off with strong inflows crossing over that date into Monday of this week, hitting highs here of inflows of 1.40 and jumping up from the 480 area to 590s. Tight consolidation here between Tuesday and Monday afternoon. And then today in the pre-market, it has broken through the resistance there of the 590s and hit highs here of 650 with inflows hitting highs of 0.89. Now, what's very interesting here is outflows never crossed. They brought themselves back up off the midpoint. And right now, the outflows have began in the second half of today as the stock is trying to come back up from the lows of $6 back to the 620s, and it's at inflows of 0.20. Now, what's going to be crucial and critical if there's any further strength here for this bull indicator to hold true on the 30-minute as well as on the 1 hour from way back here at the 480 area. And these inflows trying to stay strong above the midpoint, we need them to turn back from red to green here on the 1 hour as they sit at 0.76 above the midpoint, and inflows are dominating. Bright green, no dark green or red bars just yet. No bear indicator, dominated by bull indicators on the 1 hour and 30-minute. But to justify any further strength to the upside, these inflows need to pick up back above the midpoint, pushing it even further, right? It's already there above it, but back above it even further to the upside, away from the midpoint. It hit highs today of 0.87, and the highest it's reached recently in this run from the 470s to the $6 range is 1.37. Now, why is this one of the highest possible stocks in the short squeeze list? Well, it's number one on the short squeeze rank of a short squeeze score of 99.48. The short flow is 141.57, and the short interest change is negative 37.23. So that means some of the short interest has been slightly covered if it's going downwards, right? There's less short positions. Some covering might be happening, and as you see it here, the stock is going up and the inflows are above. And on the 1 hour, same thing, right? When you zoom out, this is the highest amount of inflows that we've seen since the last pullback from way up here at the $6 area. And we can see the high resistance level at 670s and 650s, and that's where things rejected today. And it's going to be crucial and critical to retest that and break through it if there's any further push up. And the higher this goes, the higher the possibility, not guaranteed, for more shorts to have to cover as it keeps on pushing higher. So that is something to not ignore here in this process with the amount of short interest that this has, right? When we look at those numbers, that short float, that's a huge amount when you look at the total amount of short interest. This is something to not ignore. And the days to cover, guys, it's 141.57% of the float that's short interest. And the days to cover, guys, this is in my opinion a little bit low, but it is higher than usual, right? Something below 0.50 is pretty low. Anything above 1 is pretty high, but 0.70 is a little bit higher than usual, and that can create some turbulence or a little bit of shaking out of those that are short in their short positions, as it actually doesn't allow them to just jump in and out of their shorts, right? Because the lower the days to cover is, the more flexibility is what I like to call it in my terms. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but that's what I've noticed based off the data. It gives them room and flexibility. That's the way I defined it. The lower the days to cover is, the higher it is, the more pressure they could possibly feel. So what are the key levels I'll be watching here in these charts? Well, the first thing is these inflows need to stay above the midpoint, guys. Inflows need to stay above the midpoint, continue to push back up towards those highs and retest key resistance levels, retest high resistance levels in the history of the chart. And this is some of the highest levels that we've seen in the last several weeks and months, around the 650 area. If that gets broken through, the next resistance above that is $8, and then all the way up here of that pre-market high back on April 24th of those highs up here of $9 to $10. So it's going to be crucial for these inflows to stay above, continue strong here to get back above the midpoint here on the 15-minute, cancel out this bear indicator with a possible bull indicator as that strength starts to reflect into these charts. That's going to be critical and crucial, because if these outflows continue lower, then we need to talk about supports to not ignore. And the first support is 590. Then below that is where things were in this tight range between the 550 to 560 area. And that's something to not overlook, because if this weakness rolls over into the 30-minute, the outflows could possibly cross over on the 30-minute to the downside, and that could quickly start to reflect into these charts as well. And this is a very tight range here that the bulls have fought to get up here to the sixes. If that gets broken through, then it could come right back down into the 4s, and that is something to not ignore. But right now, the most critical level I'll be watching on these inflow versus outflows is for it to switch from red to green on the 30-minute and cross back over on the 15-minute back above the midpoint and try to reflect that strength upwards. And as I stated earlier, the key levels I'll be watching is the highs up here of the 650 area, and then based off the history of the chart, going up towards the $7.50 to $8 area, and then the 9 to 10. If those things are met, right? They need to break through those resistance levels, use them as support for the bulls, and continue these inflows above the midpoint. And this is going to be critical and crucial going into tomorrow, because if those outflows of that weakness here on the 15-minute go ahead and roll over and continue pulling downwards here on the 15-minute and roll over into the 30-minute, creating that crossover to the downside, that is going to be something to not ignore, and it could quickly start to reflect into these charts. But right now, we have multiple bull indicators on the 1 hour and the 30-minute and the 15-minute. It is below the midpoint and under a bear indicator, just a little bit more volatile than the 30-minute and 1 hour, and it's going to be crucial for it to pull itself back up, eventually get a bull indicator in the process, and continue pushing up the 1 hour and the 30-minute away from the midpoint, back away upwards, with those inflows dominating and those key resistance levels being tested, guys. So those are the key levels I'll be watching to the upside, to the downside. I'm going to watch the inflow versus outflow very carefully going into tomorrow, and the bull and bear indicators. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.